The arrival. The vast expanse of space near the Orion Arm crackled with an unexpected energy surge. In the blink of an eye, a massive vessel materialized, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. The HSS Thunderbolt, humanity's first interstellar dreadnought, had arrived. On the bridge of the Thunderbolt, Captain Evelyn Chen stood tall, her dark eyes fixed on the main view screen. The ship's AI, HFY, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Assistant, announced, "Captain, we've successfully emerged from hyperspace. All systems nominal." Chen nodded, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. "Excellent, HFY. Status report on our location. We are approximately 2.3 light-years from the edge of Confederation space, Captain. No immediate threats detected." The bridge crew worked diligently at their stations, a mix of excitement and tension palpable in the air. Humanity had kept its rapid technological advancements secret for decades, and now they were about to announce their presence to the galactic community in the most dramatic way possible. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel, the ship's tactical officer, spoke up. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple energy signatures consistent with Confederation patrol vessels. They're on an intercept course." Chen's smile widened. "Right on schedule. Let's give them a show they won't forget. Shields up, but weapons remain powered down. We're here to make an impression, not start a war." As the Thunderbolt glided gracefully through space, its very presence sent shockwaves through the Galactic Confederation. On the nearest Confederation outpost, alarms blared, and confusion reigned. Grand Admiral Zixtal, a towering insectoid with iridescent wings, stared at the holographic display in disbelief. "Impossible," he chittered. "The humans are centuries away from this level of technology. This must be some trick." His aide, a slender, blue-skinned Aquarian named Lirail, approached cautiously. "Sir, the energy readings are off the charts. Whatever that ship is, it's beyond anything in our database." Zixtal's compound eyes flickered with a mix of fear and anger. "Contact the High Council immediately. We may have a first-class crisis on our hands." Back on the Thunderbolt, Chen watched as the Confederation ships approached. They were impressive in their own right, sleek and obviously advanced, but they paled in comparison to the human dreadnought. "ARIA, open a channel to the Lid Confederation vessel," Chen ordered. "Channel open, Captain," ARIA responded. Chen cleared her throat and spoke clearly, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's hopes and ambitions. "Attention, Confederation vessels. This is Captain Evelyn Chen of the human spaceship Thunderbolt. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic relations with the Galactic Confederation." There was a long pause before a response came through, the alien voice tinged with a mix of awe and suspicion. "Human vessel, this is Commander Krell of the Confederation Defense Force. Your presence here is unexpected and potentially in violation of multiple treaties. Please power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." Chen chuckled softly. "I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander. We're here to negotiate as equals, not as subjects. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting on neutral ground." The silence that followed was deafening. On the Confederation ships, panic was setting in. The humans, long considered a primitive species barely worth monitoring, had suddenly appeared with technology that rivaled or even surpassed their own. Commander Krell's voice came through again, this time with a noticeable tremor. "Stand by, Thunderbolt. We need to consult with our superiors." As the Confederation ships held their position, clearly unsure of how to proceed, Chen turned to her crew. "Well done, everyone. Phase 1 of Operation Thunderclap is complete. Now let's see how the galaxy reacts to humanity's grand entrance." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief scientist, approached Chen with a tablet in hand. "Captain, I've been analyzing the Confederation ships. Their technology is impressive, but there are clear vulnerabilities we could exploit if needed." Chen nodded, her expression serious. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Doctor. We're here to establish our place in the galactic community, not conquer it. But it's good to know we have the edge if things go south. As the hours ticked by, the tension in space continued to build. The Thunderbolt remained a silent, imposing presence, while the Confederation scrambled to decide how to handle this unexpected development. In the depths of Confederation space, the High Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from dozens of species argued and debated, their voices rising in a cacophony of alien languages. High Counselor Vexalia, a wise and ancient being of pure energy, finally called for order. Fellow counselors, we face an unprecedented situation. The humans, whom we have long dismissed, have arrived on our doorstep with technology that challenges our supremacy. We must decide, and decide quickly, how to respond. As the council debated, back on the Thunderbolt, Captain Chen prepared for the next phase of humanity's plan. Whatever came next, the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived, and they were here to stay. First contact and tension. The grand halls of the Galactic Confederation's central hub on Alpha Centaurus Prime buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 100 different species huddled in small groups, their conversations a mix of worried whispers and heated debates. The unexpected arrival of the human Dreadnought had thrown the carefully maintained balance of power into chaos. In the center of it all stood Captain Evelyn Chen, flanked by her diplomatic officer, Dr. Samantha Wong, and Security Chief, Major Leon Blackwood. They were the first humans to set foot in these halls, and the weight of their responsibility was palpable. High Counselor Vexalia floated towards them, her energy form pulsing with a soft golden light. Welcome to Alpha Centaurus Prime, Captain Chen. Your arrival has caused quite a stir among our members. Chen nodded respectfully. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, High Counselor. We understand our presence is unexpected, but we hope it can lead to positive relations between humanity and the Confederation. Before Vexalia could respond, a booming voice cut through the hall. Positive relations. You arrive unannounced in a war machine and speak of positive relations. Grand Admiral Zixtal pushed through the crowd, his wings vibrating with agitation. Dr. Wong stepped forward, her voice calm and measured. Admiral, the Thunderbolt is an exploration vessel designed for deep space travel and first contact scenarios. Its defensive capabilities are merely a precaution in unknown territory. Zixtal's compound eyes narrowed. A precaution that violates numerous treaties and regulations. Treaties, I might add, that your species was not advanced enough to be part of. The hall erupted in murmurs and exclamations. Chen raised her hand, silencing the crowd with her commanding presence. Admiral, with all due respect, those treaties were made without our input or consent. Humanity has grown beyond the limitations imposed upon us by outside forces. We're here to establish new agreements, as equals. High Counselor Vexalia's form flickered, a sign of her unease. Captain Chen, while we appreciate your willingness to negotiate, you must understand the position you've put us in. Your ship's capabilities far exceed what we believed possible for your species. Many here see it as a threat. Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes flashed with determination. We understand your concerns, Counselor. That's why we've come openly, seeking dialogue rather than conflict. Humanity has much to offer the Confederation. Advanced medical techniques, revolutionary energy systems, and breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel, to name a few. The mention of FTL advancements sent another wave of murmurs through the crowd. A tall, willowy being with silvery skin stepped forward. I am Lazen Zirix of the Technological Exchange Committee. Captain, are you saying humans have improved upon existing hyperspace technology? Dr. Wong nodded, a hint of pride in her voice. Indeed, Lazen Zirix. Our quantum fold drive allows for near instantaneous travel across vast distances, with minimal energy expenditure. It's part of the reason we were able to arrive undetected. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. Some representatives looked intrigued, others terrified. Grand Admiral Zixtal's wings buzzed furiously. This is preposterous. You expect us to believe that a species we considered primitive mere decades ago has suddenly leapfrogged centuries of our scientific progress. Major Blackwood, who had remained silent until now, spoke up. His voice was deep and carried a hint of warning. With respect, Admiral, your disbelief doesn't change the facts. We're here, aren't we? And we came in peace, despite having the means to do otherwise. The implied threat wasn't lost on anyone. The hall fell silent, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. High Counselor Vexalia's form pulsed rapidly, a sign of deep thought. Captain Chen, while we appreciate your peaceful intentions, you must understand that your arrival has upset the delicate balance we've maintained for millennia. We need time to discuss and consider the implications of your presence. Chen nodded, her posture relaxing slightly. We understand, Counselor. We're prepared to give you the time you need. In the meantime, perhaps we could arrange for a scientific exchange, a show of good faith, to demonstrate that we're here as potential allies, not conquerors. Lay's and Zirich's eyes lit up at the suggestion, but before he could speak, Grand Admiral Zixtal interjected. Absolutely not. We cannot allow potential hostile forces access to our technology or facilities. Admiral, Chen said, her patience wearing thin. If we wanted your technology, we wouldn't ask. We're offering to share ours. Surely that counts for something. The Grand Hall erupted into heated discussions once again. Species that had been at peace for generations now eyed each other with suspicion, wondering who might align with the newly arrived humans. As the debates raged on, Dr. Wang leaned close to Captain Chen. This isn't going as smoothly as we hoped, she whispered. Chen's lips quirked in a small smile. On the contrary, Samantha, it's going exactly as we expected. Change is never easy, especially for those who've grown comfortable with the status quo. But they'll adapt. They have to. Back on the Thunderbolt, Lieutenant Commander Patil monitored the diplomatic proceedings with growing concern. Araya. He addressed the ship's AI. What are the chances of this situation escalating to armed conflict? Araya's smooth voice filled the bridge. Based on current diplomatic tensions and historical data, the probability of armed conflict within the next 48 hours stands at 68.7%. Lieutenant Commander. Patil's jaw tightened. Let's hope the captain can talk them down. But just in case, run a level 3 diagnostic on all weapon systems. If this goes south, we need to be ready. As the first day of negotiations drew to a close, the galaxies stood on a knife's edge. Humanity had made its grand entrance, but the question remained, would it lead to a new era of cooperation or plunge the stars into war? Battle of Proxima Centauri. The tension that had been building since the arrival of the HSS Thunderbolt finally erupted into open conflict in the Proxima Centauri system. Despite Captain Chen's best diplomatic efforts, a faction within the Galactic Confederation, led by the hawkish Grand Admiral Zixtal, had decided that humanity posed too great a threat to be allowed free rein in the galaxy. As the Thunderbolt conducted a routine patrol near the edge of the system, proximity alarms blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Commander Patel's hands flew across his console. Captain, multiple hyperspace signatures detected. Confederation Warfleet incoming. Captain Chen's eyes narrowed as she took in the tactical display. Dozens of Confederation warships were emerging from hyperspace, their weapons already charging. So much for diplomacy, she muttered. All hands, battle stations. Araya, initiate combat protocols. The Thunderbolt's systems hummed to life, energy fields shimmering across its hull as shields powered up to maximum. Chen's voice rang out clear and confident. This is not a battle we wanted, but it's one we're prepared for. Remember your training. Trust in each other. And let's show the Confederation why humanity is not to be trifled with. Across the void of space, Grand Admiral Zixtal's flagship led the Confederation Armada. His mandibles clicked in anticipation. The humans have been allowed to upset the balance of power for too long, he announced to his fleet. Today, we remind them of their place in the galactic order. The first salvo of Confederation energy weapons lanced out across space, a dazzling display of destructive power. But as the beams approached the Thunderbolt, something unexpected happened. The shots seemed to bend around the human vessel, missing it entirely. On the Thunderbolt's bridge, Dr. Tanaka allowed herself a small smile. Deflector screens functioning perfectly, Captain. The phase shift technology is confusing their targeting systems. Chen nodded, her expression grim. Excellent work, Doctor. Now, let's return the favor. Mr. Patel, target their lead vessels. Fire at will. The Thunderbolt's main cannon, a marvel of human engineering, came to life. A beam of concentrated energy, tinted a brilliant blue, lanced out towards the Confederation fleet. It struck the first ship dead center, its shields flaring brightly before collapsing. The vessel split in two, secondary explosions ripping it apart. Shock rippled through the Confederation fleet. Their sensors hadn't even detected the weapon charging. Before they could regroup, the Thunderbolt fired again, and another cruiser fell. Grand Admiral Zixtal chittered in fury. Impossible. All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessel. Overwhelm their defenses. The space around the Thunderbolt lit up as hundreds of energy beams and missiles converged on its position. For a moment, it seemed as if the human ship would be engulfed. But as the barrage subsided, the Thunderbolt emerged, its shields still glowing but intact. Shield strength at 82%, Captain, reported Major Blackwood from his security station. Minor damage to outer hull plating, but all systems remain operational. Chen's lips curled into a predatory smile. Time to show them what we're really capable of. ARIA, initiate Thunderclap protocol. Understood, Captain, the AI responded. Thunderclap protocol initiated. Quantum fold generators spooling up. The Confederation fleet pressed their attack, believing they had the Thunderbolt pinned down. But suddenly, the human vessel simply vanished. Confusion reigned on the Confederation ships. Where did they go? Zixtal demanded. Scan the entire system. Before anyone could respond, the Thunderbolt reappeared, directly in the middle of the Confederation formation. Its weapons blazed to life, striking out in all directions with pinpoint accuracy. Confederation ships, caught off guard, and with their flanks exposed, fell one after another. Quantum jumps successful, Captain, Araya reported. We can perform 3 more before the system requires a cooldown period. Chen nodded. Make them count. Target their command ships and heavy cruisers. Let's cut the head off this snake. The battle raged on, with the Thunderbolt. The battle raged on, with the Thunderbolt appearing and disappearing across the battlefield like a phantom. Each time it materialized, it struck with devastating precision before vanishing again, leaving destruction in its wake. On the bridge of his flagship, Grand Admiral Zixtal watched in horror as his carefully planned assault crumbled. This can't be happening, he chittered, his compound eyes darting frantically between tactical displays. How can one ship be defeating our entire fleet? His second-in-command, a reptilian saurian named Kussel, hissed in frustration. Admiral, we've lost a third of our ships. The humans' technology. It's beyond anything we've ever encountered. Zixtal's wings buzzed in agitation. No, I refuse to accept defeat. All ships, initiate Protocol Omega. We'll overload our warp cores if we have to, but that human vessel must be destroyed. Back on the Thunderbolt, alarms blared as Araya's voice cut through the chaos. Captain, detecting massive energy buildups in the remaining Confederation ships. Analysis suggests they're preparing to detonate their warp cores. Chen's eyes widened. They're going to sacrifice their own fleet to take us out. Gutsy move. She paused for a split second, weighing her options. Araya, plot a quantum fold jump to these coordinates. Mr. Patel, prepare to fire our graviton pulse the moment we reappear. As the Confederation ships began to glow with the ominous light of overloading warp cores, the Thunderbolt vanished once more. It reappeared at the edge of the battlefield, and immediately a wave of invisible force erupted from its bow. The graviton pulse swept across space, enveloping the Confederation fleet. Suddenly, the growing energy signatures of the overloading warp cores began to diminish. On ship after ship, power systems flickered and died. "Direct hit, Captain," Paddle reported, a note of awe in his voice. "The graviton pulse has disrupted their power systems. Their warp cores are shutting down, and their weapons are offline." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Well done, everyone. Araya, open a channel to the Confederation flagship." The main screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of Zixel's ship. The Admiral's usual composure was gone, replaced by a mix of fear and disbelief. "This is Captain Chen of the HSS Thunderbolt," Chen began, her voice calm but authoritative. "Your fleet is disabled, and you're at our mercy. But unlike you, we didn't come here for destruction. Power down your remaining systems and prepare to be boarded. We'll provide assistance to your damaged ships and tend to your wounded. This battle is over." For a long moment, Zixel said nothing. Then his shoulders slumped in defeat. We surrender, Captain. May the gods have mercy on us all for underestimating humanity so gravely." As the Thunderbolt's crew began rescue and recovery operations, Dr. Wong approached Captain Chen. "An impressive victory, Captain. But I fear this is only the beginning. The Confederation won't take this defeat lightly." Chen nodded, her expression serious. "You're right, Samantha. We've won the battle, but the real war, the war for our place in the galaxy, is just beginning. Send a message to Earth. Tell them that Operation Thunderclap was a success, but we're going to need reinforcements. It's time for humanity to step onto the galactic stage in force." As the message was sent, the crew of the Thunderbolt looked out at the starfield, now littered with the debris of battle. They had faced their first true test in the cosmos and emerged victorious. But greater challenges lay ahead, challenges that would determine the fate not just of humanity, but of the entire galaxy. Turning the tide. In the weeks following the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy was abuzz with news of humanity's stunning victory. The defeat of a superior Confederation force by a single human vessel sent shockwaves through every corner of known space. Species that had long accepted Confederation rule began to whisper of rebellion, while others sought to align themselves with this powerful new player on the galactic stage. On Earth, the United Earth government convened an emergency session to discuss the path forward. The success of the Thunderbolt had proven that humanity could stand toe-to-toe with the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, but it had also painted a target on Earth's back. In a secure underground chamber beneath Geneva, world leaders and military commanders gathered. Admiral Helena Vasquez, the architect of Earth's rapid military expansion, addressed the assembly. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Thunderbolt's victory has given us a foothold in galactic politics, but we must act swiftly to consolidate our position. I propose we initiate Phase 2 of Operation Starfall." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Phase 2 had always been considered a contingency, a plan so ambitious it bordered on the impossible. But now, with the Thunderbolt's success, the impossible seemed within reach. President Adaman Kruma, a tall man with a commanding presence, leaned forward. "You believe we're ready for full-scale deployment, Admiral?" Vasquez nodded firmly. "Mr. President, members of the Council, we've spent decades preparing for this moment. Our shipyards on Mars, Europa, and Titan have been operating at full capacity. We have a fleet of 50 Dreadnoughts ready to launch, each as advanced as the Thunderbolt, along with hundreds of support vessels. It's time we showed the galaxy the full extent of human capabilities." The chamber erupted in excited chatter. Councillor Zhang Wei, representing the Asian Confederation, raised a hand. "And what of the diplomatic ramifications? Surely such a show of force will be seen as an act of war by the entire Confederation." Dr. Ileana Ramirez, Earth's foremost sinoanthropologist, stood to address this concern. Councillor Zhang raises a valid point. However, our intelligence suggests that the Confederation is far from united. Many member species chafe under the dominance of the Central Powers. A show of strength from humanity might be just the catalyst needed to fracture their alliance. President Nkrumah absorbed this information, his expression thoughtful. After a moment of tense silence, he spoke. "Very well. Admiral Vasquez, you have authorization to proceed with Phase 2. May God have mercy on us all if we've miscalculated." As the Council adjourned, preparations began in earnest. Across the solar system, massive ships that had been hidden in underground hangars and asteroid bases were brought to life. The pride of human engineering, and the culmination of decades of reverse-engineered alien technology, each vessel represented the pinnacle of military might. In deep space, aboard the Thunderbolt, Captain Chen received the transmission from Earth. As she read the orders, a mix of pride and apprehension washed over her. "Araya," she called out, "set a course for the Arcturus system. It's time to rendezvous with the fleet." Days later, in the Arcturus system, a sight unfolded that would have been unimaginable just years before. 50 dreadnoughts, each the size of a small city, assembled in perfect formation. Alongside them, hundreds of cruisers, destroyers, and support ships took their positions. At the head of this armada, the Thunderbolt stood proudly, a testament to human ingenuity and the tip of the spear that would reshape galactic politics. Captain Chen stood on the bridge, surveying the fleet. Lieutenant Commander Patel whistled softly. "It's something, isn't it, Captain? To think, all this was built right under the Confederation's nose." Chen nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to unite in the face of external threats, Raj. The Confederation thought they were keeping us contained, but they were really giving us the motivation we needed to surpass them." As the fleet prepared to move out, news of its existence spread like wildfire across Confederation space. On Alpha Centaurus Prime, the Galactic Confederation's capital, panic set in. High Counselor Vexalia's energy form pulsed erratically as she addressed an emergency session of the Council. "Esteemed colleagues, we face an unprecedented crisis. The humans have revealed a military force that rivals our own. Our options are limited. We must either sue for peace or commit to total war." The council chamber descended into chaos as representatives argued vehemently. Some called for immediate surrender, while others demanded a fight to the last ship. In the midst of the uproar, a calm voice cut through the noise. Liaison Xerix, who had been fascinated by human technology since their first contact, spoke up. "Members of the council, I propose a third option. Instead of fighting the humans or capitulating to them, why don't we seek to ally with them? Their technology, combined with our resources and established interstellar infrastructure, could usher in a new golden age for the galaxy." His words gave the council pause. It was a radical proposal, but in the face of humanity's unexpected might, radical solutions were needed. As debates raged in the Confederation capital, the human fleet began its advance. System after system fell under human control, not through violence, but through a carefully orchestrated display of overwhelming force coupled with diplomatic outreach. Planets that had suffered under Confederation rule welcomed the humans as liberators. Species that had been denied membership in the Confederation due to arbitrary technological requirements now found a willing partner in humanity. In the Sirius system, a key Confederation stronghold, the human fleet faced its first major resistance. A Confederation battle group, hastily assembled from the remnants of their once proud navy, stood in opposition. Captain Chen, now serving as admiral of the human fleet, opened a channel to the Confederation commander. "This is Admiral Chen of the Human Expeditionary Force. We have no desire for bloodshed. Stand down, and we guarantee the safety of your crews and the sovereignty of your homeworlds under a new galactic order." For tense moments, there was no response. Then, to everyone's surprise, the Confederation ships began powering down their weapons. The commander's voice came through, tinged with a mix of resignation and hope. "We've seen what a single human ship can do. Admiral, we have no wish to face a fleet. Moreover, many of us have grown disillusioned with the Confederation's leadership. Perhaps it's time for a change. As news of the Sirius system's peaceful transition spread, more and more Confederation worlds began to declare their independence, throwing their support behind the human-led movement. The tide of galactic politics was turning, and humanity was at its crest. Admiral Chen, standing on the bridge of the Thunderbolt, watched as the galactic map updated in real time, showing the rapidly changing political landscape. Dr. Wang joined her eyes wide with wonder. "It's happening so fast," Wang marveled. "In just a few weeks, we've reshaped the power dynamics of half the galaxy." Chen nodded, her expression a mix of pride and caution. "We have, Samantha. But the real challenge lies ahead. It's one thing to topple an old order. Building a new one, a just one, that's the true test of our species." As the human fleet continued its advance, the galaxy held its breath. The age of the Confederation was ending, and a new era was dawning. An era that would be shaped by the ingenuity, determination, and spirit of humanity. A new galactic order. The Grand Chamber of the new Galactic Alliance on the neutral world of Harmony was a marvel of engineering and diplomacy. Designed to accommodate representatives from thousands of species, it was a physical embodiment of the new era of cooperation that humanity had ushered in. Admiral Evelyn Chen, now serving as humanity's primary representative, stood at the podium, her voice carrying across the vast space. "Distinguished representatives, honored guests, today marks a new chapter in galactic history. The old Confederation has fallen, but from its ashes, we have the opportunity to build something greater. A true alliance of equals, where every species, regardless of their technological advancement, has a voice." The chamber buzzed with a mix of excitement and apprehension. For many species, this was the first time they had been invited to participate in galactic governance. Others, particularly those who had held power in the old Confederation, watched warily, unsure of their place in this new order. Liaison Xerix, now representing a coalition of former Confederation worlds, stepped forward. "Admiral Chen, while many of us appreciate the opportunities this new alliance presents, there are concerns. Humanity's military might is unmatched. How can we be assured that this isn't simply trading one set of overlords for another?" Chen nodded, acknowledging the valid concern. "A fair question, Liaison. That's why the first act of this alliance will be the establishment of the Galactic Oversight Committee. This body, composed of representatives from all member species, will have full transparency and veto power over human military operations. We came here to join the galactic community, not to conquer it." This announcement sent a ripple of surprise through the chamber. It was an unprecedented move. A dominant military power voluntarily submitting to oversight. Dr. Samantha Wang, now serving as the head of the Alliance's scientific exchange program, stepped up to the podium. "Furthermore, we propose the creation of the Galactic Scientific Cooperative. This organization will pool the knowledge and resources of all member species, ensuring that technological advancements benefit everyone, not just a select few." The chamber erupted in excited chatter. The prospect of shared scientific knowledge, especially with humanity's advanced technology on the table, was tantalizing to many species. As the session continued, more proposals were put forward. Open borders for trade and cultural exchange, a unified response to external threats, and programs to elevate less developed species to spacefaring status were all discussed and largely accepted. In the upper tiers of the chamber, former Grand Admiral Zixtal watched the proceedings with a mix of bitterness and grudging respect. His attempt to stop humanity had not only failed, but had catalyzed the very change he feared. Yet, as he listened to the plans for this new alliance, he found himself reconsidering his stance. During a recess, Zixtal approached Admiral Chen. "Admiral," he began, his voice humbler than she had ever heard it, "I owe you and your species an apology. I feared your power, but I failed to see the wisdom with which you would wield it. If you'll have me, I would like to offer my experience to help build this new alliance." Chen studied the former admiral for a moment before extending her hand in the human gesture of reconciliation. Your experience would be invaluable, Admiral Zixtal. The goal was never to defeat the Confederation, but to create a better galaxy for all. I'm glad you can see that now. As the session resumed, the atmosphere in the chamber had shifted. The initial wariness had given way to cautious optimism. Species that had been enemies for generations were now engaged in productive dialogue, finding common ground and shared aspirations. High Counselor Vexelia, her energy form glowing with renewed vigor, addressed the assembly. My fellow beings, I have lived for millennia and seen the rise and fall of many galactic powers. But never have I seen a transition like this, from conflict to cooperation in such a short span of time. The humans have shown us a new path, one of unity and diversity. Let us embrace this opportunity and build a future that honors the best in all of us. The chamber resounded with applause and various forms of alien approval. As the first charter of the new Galactic Alliance was drafted and signed, a palpable sense of hope filled the air. Months passed, and the changes brought by the new alliance began to bear fruit. Worlds that had once been resource-poor found new trading partners. Species on the brink of extinction due to failing ecosystems were saved by joint scientific efforts. Conflicts that had raged for centuries were mediated and resolved. On the Thunderbolt, now serving as a diplomatic vessel, Admiral Chen stood in her ready room, looking out at the stars. Dr. Wong entered, a datapad in hand. Latest reports from Earth? Admiral, Wong said, her voice filled with excitement. The technology exchange program is exceeding all expectations. We're seeing advancements in medicine, energy production, and environmental restoration that would have taken centuries without this cooperation. Chen smiled, a sense of pride washing over her. And to think, Samantha, not long ago, we were a species confined to our own solar system, viewed as primitives by the galactic community. Wong nodded, her expression thoughtful. It's ironic, isn't it? The Confederation's attempt to contain us is what drove us to surpass them. Our isolation became our greatest strength. Indeed, Chen agreed. We had to rely on ourselves, to innovate and push boundaries. And in doing so, we developed not just advanced technology, but a perspective that the galaxy desperately needed. As they stood there, looking out at the vast expanse of space, both women felt the weight of what humanity. As they stood there, looking out at the vast expanse of space, both women felt the weight of what humanity had accomplished and the responsibility that came with it. Chen turned to Wong, her expression serious. We've come so far, but our journey is far from over. The real test of humanity isn't in winning battles or even in brokering peace. It's in maintaining that peace, in fostering growth and understanding across the galaxy. Wong nodded, her eyes bright with determination. You're right, Admiral, and that's why our next steps are crucial. The educational exchange programs we're setting up, the collaborative research initiatives, these will be the foundation of lasting change. Just then, Araya's voice came through the comm system. Admiral, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth. It's President Kruma. Put him through, Chen replied, straightening her uniform. The holographic image of President Kruma appeared in the center of the room, his expression a mix of pride and concern. Admiral Chen, Dr. Wong, congratulations on the successful establishment of the new Galactic Alliance. Your achievements have surpassed our wildest expectations. Thank you, Mr. President, Chen responded. But I sense there's more to this call than congratulations. Nkrumah nodded gravely. Indeed, Admiral. Our long-range sensors have detected anomalies at the edge of charted space. We believe we may not be alone in this galaxy. Chen and Wong exchanged glances, a mixture of excitement and apprehension passing between them. Are we talking about another advanced civilization, sir? Chen asked. Possibly, Nkrumah replied. Or it could be something else entirely. Something beyond our current understanding. I'm authorizing a long-range expedition to investigate, and I want the Thunderbolt to lead it. Chen felt a familiar thrill run through her. The call of the unknown, the challenge of the unexplored. "We'd be honored, Mr. President. When do we depart?" "As soon as you can get your crew together," Nkrumah said. "And Admiral, whatever you find out there, remember that you now carry the hopes and dreams of not just humanity, but of our entire alliance. Good luck and Godspeed." As the transmission ended, Chen turned to Wang, a glint of adventure in her eyes. "Well, Samantha, it looks like our work here is just the beginning. Ready to make some more history?" Wang grinned, already mentally preparing for the challenges ahead. "Always, Admiral. The universe is vast, and we've only scratched the surface." Over the next few weeks, preparations for the expedition moved at a feverish pace. The Thunderbolt, already a marvel of technology, was outfitted with the latest advancements born from the Alliance's collaborative efforts. New sensor arrays capable of detecting exotic particles, enhanced quantum communication systems, and even more powerful defensive and propulsion systems were installed. The crew was carefully selected, not just from humanity's best and brightest, but from across the Alliance. Zixtal, the former Confederation admiral, joined as his strategic advisor. Lays and Xerix came aboard as a xenotech specialist. Even a member of Vexalia's energy-based species joined, their unique perceptions promising to be invaluable in understanding phenomena beyond traditional physical laws. As the day of departure arrived, the Thunderbolt sat in orbit around Earth, its sleek hull gleaming in the sunlight. In the launch bay, Admiral Chen addressed the assembled crew, a diverse group representing the best the galaxy had to offer. "Today, we embark on a journey into the unknown," Chen began, her voice carrying across the bay. "We faced challenges before: war, diplomacy, the restructuring of an entire galactic society. But what lies ahead may be our greatest challenge yet. We go not just as humans, not just as members of our individual species, but as representatives of our entire alliance, of the very idea that diversity and unity can coexist and thrive." She paused, looking at each crew member in turn. "Out there, we may find wonders beyond our imagination, or threats beyond our worst nightmares. But whatever we encounter, we face it together. Our strength lies not just in our technology or our determination, but in our unity, in our ability to bring together different perspectives, different abilities, and forge them into something greater than the sum of its parts." The crew stood tall, their expressions a mix of excitement and resolve. Chen felt a surge of pride. This unity in diversity was the true achievement of humanity's journey to the stars. "To your stations," she commanded. "Let's show the universe what we're capable of." As the crew dispersed, Chen made her way to the bridge, Wang and Zixtal at her side. The view screen showed the Earth slowly receding as the Thunderbolt moved into position. "All systems ready, Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Puddle reported from his station. "Quantum fold drive spooled and ready for your command." Chen took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. With a nod to her companions, she gave the order that would once again change the course of galactic history. "Take us out, Mr. Puddle, to the edge of known space and beyond." The Thunderbolt's engines flared to life, and in a burst of dazzling energy, the ship vanished from Earth's orbit. As it reappeared at the edge of charted space, the crew looked out at the vast, unexplored expanse before them. Whatever lay ahead, new civilizations, cosmic phenomena, or challenges yet unimagined, they would face it as a united force, carrying with them the hopes and dreams of countless beings across the galaxy. The Thunderbolt's journey had started as humanity's bid for recognition in a vast, indifferent cosmos. It had led to the reshaping of galactic society and the forging of bonds between once rival species. Now, as the ship ventured into the unknown, it carried with it the promise of a new era, an era of exploration, cooperation, and limitless possibility. As the stars streaked by on the view screen, Admiral Evelyn Chen allowed herself a small smile. The real adventure, she knew, was just beginning.